Cessna 172. When you think general aviation, you probably think this, or this. Regardless, the 172 is one of the most popular single-engine airplanes in the world, and for good reason. It is very forgiving and very fun to fly. You can go to almost any airport, and there will be at least one 172 there, if not more. The performance isn't the best in the world, but it'll still haul a decent load and get you there in a reasonable amount of time. There is no airplane that's good at everything, but the 172 comes close. You look at this thing, and it's not surprising it's so popular. So, where does it all begin? Well, the 172 is a variant of the Cessna 170, which is basically the same airplane except it has a tailwheel. The 170 first flew in 1948, and in 1956 its production run was over because of this little guy here. The early 172s were really just a 170 with the landing gear in a tricycle configuration. And these are way more stable because the center of gravity is in front of the main wheels versus a tail dragger where the CG is behind the mains. This makes the airplane very directionally unstable, making it a bit of a handful on takeoffs and especially landings. The 172 was off to a good start when in the first year of production 1,400 of them were sold. And since then, over 44,000 units have been made. The very early 172s weren't really different in appearance from the 170s, apart from the round rudder of the latter, while the former was fixed with a straight tail. In 1960, Cessna swept back the vertical stabilizer for the classic empennage we all know. And in 1963, substantial changes were made to the fuselage. And when I say substantial, I mean they just added this rear window, which Cessna dubbed Omnivision. Since 1963, the 172 hasn't really changed physically that much. The Continental 0300 that the 172 utilized from 1956 to 1967 was a horizontally opposed, air-cooled, six-cylinder engine producing 145 horsepower with a dry weight of 268 pounds. The 170 also used this engine for the entirety of its production. From 1968 on, the 172 used Lycoming's 0320, which was, again, horizontally opposed and air-cooled. Unlike the Continental, the Lycoming was a four-cylinder and produced 150 horsepower and had a dry weight of 244 pounds. The latter engine whisked the 172 along at 120 miles an hour cruise, and it gave a climb rate of around 700 feet per minute. Over the years, there have been many variants of the 172, most notably the 172RG, which was first introduced in 1980. It featured a retractable undercarriage, 180 horsepower Lycoming, and boasted a cruise speed of 130 to 135 knots, which is around 155 miles per hour. Cessna ended production of the 172RG, dubbed the Cutlass, after only 5 years and selling 1,191 units. The 172 really is a great trainer, cross-country flyer, and overall amazing aircraft. It's no wonder it's so immensely popular.